Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Arian Radmand. I'm the founder and CEO at IgnitePOST. Super excited to have you along today. Today, I'm going to be talking through our HubSpot automation. That's right. We know there are a lot of folks out there that use HubSpot as their marketing automation tool. And now you can use IgnitePOST to send real pen and ink handwritten cards directly from your HubSpot workflows. And today, I'm going to walk you step by step through the process of how you would go about setting one up. So let's dive in and get started. So the first thing that you want to do is hit ignitepost.com and choose login, sign up. We're actually going to start on the IgnitePOST dashboard. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to create a handwritten card template that lives on your IgnitePOST dashboard, and then we're going to trigger it from a HubSpot workflow. So when you log into IgnitePOST, at the top, you'll see there's a link to letter templates. Click on that link to a letter template, and let's go ahead and set up a letter template that we're going to trigger. If you don't have one yet, you can click this button that says Create Letter Template. I actually have one that is already set up, so just for the sake of time, I'm going to dive in there and use that one instead. But it's easy to set one up. So if you click Create Letter Template, you'll basically see this screen, and you just go through and basically give your letter template a unique name that's informative. So this is a Google review thank you card. So as you'll see in a moment, when I set things up on HubSpot, I have a HubSpot flow that when someone becomes an evangelist of my product, the flow kicks into action. And what I want to do is add a handwritten note touch point to ask them to come back and leave me a review. So this is going to be asking for a Google review. So you can kind of fill in the form as needed. So fill in your return address details with whatever you want. And then on the note itself, let's go ahead and choose something that makes sense. So my note here says, hi, so-and-so. Just wanted to reach out, say thank you for being an amazing customer. It would mean the world if you take 3 minutes and write us a great review. If there's anything else I can do in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. Please stay in touch. And then my signature. So we've got our content here. I would recommend setting things up and previewing them here on the IgnitePOST dashboard so you can see what they look like. You can choose from a number of different handwriting styles if you like, so it depends on what matches your handwriting style the most. By the way, if you want us to recreate your handwriting style, we can do that as well and put your handwriting on file with us. So I'm going to, I'll choose Nelson here. I like the way that looks. And then if you scroll down, you also have the ability to update what you want the front of the card to look like. So I'm just going to use our default thank you card. If I wanted to, I could click this upload your own, and I can upload an image, or I can use my logo, or I can upload a marketing creative that has maybe a QR code for someone to scan, so it takes them right to the review page. But for now, I'm going to leave this as is. I'm going to leave this as the thank you card. So I click update. So now what I have is a Google review thank you card that's living on IgnitePOST. And what we want to do is now trigger this from a HubSpot workflow. So to do that, let's jump over into HubSpot. So this is my HubSpot dashboard. I just have a sample workflow pulled up here, but basically it starts when a contact is marked as an evangelist. So when that happens, I have got a number of different actions here. I've got a couple of follow-up emails. You can trigger anything you want. But let's say when somebody becomes an evangelist, not only do I want to send an automatic email to them, but I also want to send them the personalized handwritten card that I just set up and ask them to give me a review. So to do that, very easy. I come down here, I hit the little plus symbol, which means I want to add an action. And in HubSpot, you're going to go down to where it says internal communication, and you're going to select send internal marketing email. All right. Now, to set this up, it asks you to enter one or more email addresses. So the email address you're going to use is operator@ignitepost.com. So that is our operator bot. And so you're going to be sending an email to the operator bot, letting us know what card you want to send, and we're going to do the rest from there. The second thing that it asks you to do is to choose an email. Now, I have an email template set up called IgnitePOST Email to Handwritten Card Template, and that's the one I'm going to choose. I'm going to click Save, and now this is going to add this action to send an internal marketing email. It's going to send our email to handwritten card template at exactly the right time to operator@ignitepost.com, and the rest will be taken care of for you. So This flow is now set up, but let's take a look at what is actually happening in this email that's being sent, because that's where all the magic happens. So if I pull up that email, so this is my IgnitePOST email to handwritten card template. It is just a plain text email that we're going to be sending. So if you haven't set one up, you can just easily go into HubSpot, select I want to set up a marketing automation email. It'll give you this screen to do so. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what all these various fields mean. So the good news is you don't have to remember all of this by memory. We give you a very easy way to copy and paste this. So if you visit our blog and scroll down to the bottom, you'll see in the footer there is a blog link to email to cards. If you click on that link, you'll get this post. And if you scroll down about halfway, you'll see that there is this content that you can simply copy the whole thing and then come over into the email and simply paste. Now, when you paste, I would recommend to paste and match style. So you would keep the style and you won't get any kind of weird non-printable characters in here. But that's essentially it. So now you've gotten your email to handwritten card template in here. And so what we're going to do is go line by line and I'll explain what everything is. So the first thing it asks you for is your API key. This is an API key that you are going to generate on the IgnitePOST dashboard. So if I jump over into IgnitePOST and I go and hover over my initials in the top right and go down to API keys, I'm going to come here. I have a bunch of keys already set up. If you don't have one, you can just click Create API Key and give it a useful name. But I click Show to the API key that I create or the API key I want to use, copy the entire thing, and then I take it back here and I paste it in between the double brackets. So we have our API key. The next thing that it asks you for is the letter template ID. So this is the ID of the letter template that we have set up. So if you remember back here, when we set up the letter template, we created a Google review letter template. So if I click on View next to this Google review thank you card, you'll see in the URL at the top, it says letter template /32. So 32 is the ID that corresponds to this letter template. So when somebody becomes an evangelist, I want this specific letter triggered. So now I'm going to go into my letter, and as you see, into my email here, I'm going to type in 32. And so now that connects the letter template on IgnitePOST. So now we know what to send. Next thing it asks you for is the font. So Nelson is the font that I liked. That's the one that I selected here. One thing to note is when you are setting this up in HubSpot, you can actually overwrite all of this information at the time that you trigger a card to us. So I want Nelson as my handwriting style. That's what I selected. But if I wanted a different one, I could simply, in this email editor, write in whatever other handwriting style I want. So next is the message. So whatever you put in as the message here is actually going to overwrite what is in your template. But that's a good thing because this gives us the ability to personalize the actual message with any information that's stored in your CRM system. So as you see right here, I have a personalized insert for first name here. You're not restricted to just first name. You can go anywhere and say personalize, and it'll bring up this nice editor. I can figure out, do I want something from contact? Let's say, I want like last name or anything I want, but you can basically input any information into the message that's stored in your HubSpot CRM, which makes this super powerful. So I'm just going to use first name for now, but same thing, hi first name, want to reach out and say thank you for being an amazing customer, et cetera, et cetera. The sender name, I update this with what I want to appear in the return address on the outside of the envelope. So I've got my sender details filled in. And then on the recipient side, I filled this in with the contact information from HubSpot. So again, I click in between the double brackets for all of these. I hit personalize, go to contact information, and I fill in all of these specific fields with the appropriate values. So, I had filled this in with first name. So you would just select this and it would put it there. So I put first name, last name. Same thing here. I chose personalize and filled in the street address, the city, state, zip, and that's it. So now that I have this set, this is an email that contains all of the information I want. It's connected with my API key. It's connected to the correct letter template ID. So now I just say review and update. I'm going to publish this. So now this is live. Great. And now what I can do is come back over to my workflow that I just built, where I have this step, which is triggering that email that I just set up to operator@ignitepost.com. Now, to test this out, by default, all of our API keys are in test mode. So if you see our API keys, you'll see that all of these checkboxes here, none of them are checked live. By default, all of our keys are in test mode. That means that you can add as many calls as you want to this API. So my recommendation is, once you get the workflow set up, send some folks down the workflow without turning the API key on to have this be triggered so that you can test this out and actually see how it looks and make sure that the right information is being pulled into the right fields and that the message looks correct. So if you do trigger one of these emails to us, what will happen is we will send you a preview email. So let's say that I put somebody in here, I sent them through the flow. When they get to this step, they would get an email that looks something like this, a IgnitePOST test order preview. It would show you exactly the order that was received, so the handwriting style, the message itself, so that you can see if there is any mistakes. And then if you scroll down to the bottom here, you'll actually see that you can see a preview of the front as well as the inside. Let me click on the inside here, just to make sure. So here, this is an example of, I sent myself obviously down that workflow and triggered a sample card that was to be sent to me. But again, because everything was in test mode, we didn't actually trigger or write anything. We just simply got an email sent to the account owner's email. So now I can see that it's correctly pulling in first name and that the message is correct and everything looks good. So now I'm confident that that workflow that I have set up in HubSpot is correct. So with that, the only thing left to do, you've got your workflow set up, is to email IgnitePOST, send an email to support@ignitepost.com and say, hey, I just created this API key. I tested everything out. Things are ready to go. Can you please turn on my key so that it's live? And with that, that's the only thing you have to do. And now every time somebody goes down this workflow and reaches this action, they're going to have a handwritten card triggered to them from you that is highly personalized and can say whatever you want. So that is a very quick overview of how to send a handwritten card from a HubSpot workflow. So if you have any questions, reach out to us, support@ignitepost.com. We're standing by. We'd be happy to answer any questions or walk you through anything. We're also happy to share some best practices and give you some examples and insights as to what other folks have done and where they're seeing success. But if there's anything else that we can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out. So thanks so much for watching. We're really excited to see what kind of automations everybody sets up, and we will see you next time. Take care.